Yes. So I think we are good to go. I think we are close to hitting the hour. So next session in our room 3 is from Raphael Koellner, and he's talking about how to be compliant in the metaverse. So at least I'm interested. Is there any compliance in the metaverse yet? So what is the compliance in the metaverse? So ready?
That's the question. That is one of the big questions because we want to go into the metaverse, but what is today and what is hopefully in the future? And yeah, we will talk about in this session. I will show you a little bit, and yeah, we will see. It's more than as usage. So how you can use the metaverse today, or what has happened in the future, in a compliant way. And yeah, this is more and more interesting for enterprise companies or for insurance companies or like this to bring their products into the metaverse. And yeah, so. Thank you very much, Matty, for your introduction and for the organization for the first. That's the first one of Metaverse 1, and then I'm very, very happy to be a part of it and help you and yeah, bring my topics and the compliance topics, which is a very new one to the Metaverse. We will have a look at the Microsoft documentation and all of this a little bit later to show you, okay, where's Metaverse and legal and regulations where we can find anything. So this is a basic session about be compliant with Metaverse, how you can start, what is possible, and we will concentrate us to the Microsoft tools, to Alter Space. So I insert Alter Space on Mac. That's also possible. And let's start. Let's start and go forward. At first, to me, my name is Raphael Koellner. I'm one of the MVPs for Office Apps and Services, like Matty and the other ones here who organize the conference. And I'm also Windows Insider MVP and one of the Team Solidity team. And I'm one of the 100 Microsoft Media directors. And I'm the compliance guy in the community, and I'm study law and be a community guy and a compliance guy. And I'm very happy to combine this because this is the first time I have this topic and this session in a public space. It's only internal discussion with customers, so I'm very happy to talk with you and talk public about it. If you have any question, feel free to use the chat. I will have a look into the chat in the part of the session or at the end and at the end also. So let's start and go forward. We don't have so much time. Agenda, what I have planned to talk about today. A little introduction. That's every time in my session what means metaverse, and I don't want to talk about what means metaverse in a technical way, what means metaverse in a legal way. So it's very interesting that we have a lot of session today, how to use metaverse, how to edit metaverse, how to start, and that's very exclusive in this conference. And I will give you the idea and the information metaverse out of a legal and compliance view. Next one is, the compliance topic. So we go deeper into the topic. Then the next one is the challenges, which challenge we have today, which challenges hopefully in the future will be resolved, which challenge we have in the legal topic in general, which is not, there's no regulation, for example, today. And some solution and ideas, so my thinking about this topic. And also at the end, a little bit of Q&A, so put your questions into the chat window, or at the end we can have a short talk and a little discussion about it. Okay, so let's start. Introduction into Metaverse out of a compliance and legal view. And I love these new topics with HoloLens, Mesh, and all of this. So at first, let's have a look a little bit into the Microsoft world of Metaverse, and we see, okay, we have Altspace, what we are using, for example, at Ignite last time, and at some other conferences, like also we will use at the after party today. And we have on the other side the Mesh app in HoloLens. So what is possible in the Microsoft way and in the future. And there are some beta tester and private previews about Mesh from Microsoft Teams. And here I love this short video from the last Ignite where we see we work together, we bring the employees into the metaverse, into the hybrid work. So I can sit here in the hotel, for example, you are sitting at your work or you're sitting at home, and we all bring also with other avatars into the metaverse world, and we can work together. We can have a conference in Metaverse itself. So very, very interesting. I don't want to talk much more about the Metaverse than out of a legal view. You all know what is Metaverse and how we can start and all of this. So let's start with this other view on this very interesting topic. Metaverse. We have the Metaverse, and I make a little brainstorming at first. So we will go deeper and deeper in the session. We have a little brainstorming how we can start. And what is the first question? And the first question is the copyright law. We have avatars, we have environments, we have digital goods. So companies starting to sell digital goods into the metaverse. For example, different clothes, shoes, other hairs, selling avatars itself, and we have a market store hopefully also in the future, and we see it in other metaverse. We have also a market store to get environments, and we have also Microsoft partners today, and I'm very happy to see these Microsoft partners also on this conference. They're creating a metaverse or a metaverse environment, Altspace environment for customers, so that they can have their meetings there, or that they have their Christmas parties, summer parties, or whatever in the metaverse, or creating their conferences in metaverse, like our conference today. Or also in my company, we have a metaverse room for consulting. So we start with the metaverse and make consulting into the metaverse. And very interesting here is the copyright law of these goods. So who is the owner of these goods, who can sell it? It's at the end it's only like an app, or is it a database? And this is a very interesting thing. So that today we said, okay, we have to make a differences between, for example, databases. We have pictures, we have avatars. So at the end, yes, we have copyright law. So you can't, it's not allowed to use another avatar when it's forbidden for you to use, for example, or to have a shirt, for example, also with the name of a company like Adidas or Nike on it. There's also a copyright law and antitrust and all of this in the metaverse. So it's very, very interesting. There are not too much regulations today. So what means regulations? Yes, but not too much papers about it. So it's a very interesting and very new topic. We started with Second Life, that's years ago, with these topics and copyright law and digital goods. But all what we learned in Second Life, we can use now in the metaverse. So a little hint that we are talking about this exam. Licensing. Software as we can put it down here, so it's better like this. Software as a service tool, the most, and all of the metaverse software today, like also Altspace and also Mesh for Microsoft Teams, is a software as a service tool. So we have to talk about licensing. You need to be compliant in the licensing, that you can use this functionality, that is allowed to use this functionality. We have terms of use in these licensing. So we have product terms in this licensing. We have, for example, is it possible within enterprise agreement to use Altspace together? And no, this is a very short answer. No, it's not possible. Altspace and the enterprise agreements is not connected today, but in the future, hopefully, and this is what was coming, and what I want to hope, and what I want to see what I want to see in the future is that the Teams for Mesh functionality and this starting of Metaverse will be part of enterprise agreement, for example. But today, no, we don't have an enterprise agreement with Mesh. Then we have the Working Council in Germany, in France. There we have a very strong process to control about these changings in your workplace, to have a part in the company that control your interests and give you interest to your boss and all of this. And this Working Council is also a part of Metaverse. So when you start with Metaverse in your company, you have to talk with your Working Council. Like to start with Microsoft 365, you have to talk with your Working Council. And here, and it's very interesting, I'm talking with a lot of Working Councils that they don't know what is Metaverse. So you have to be patient and said, okay, what is Metaverse? What we want to do with this? Why we want to do this? For example, it's a very good idea that, or a good argument I heard very often. I don't want to turn off my camera. It's better to turn off the avatar. So maybe we see in the future in Teams, don't switch off the camera and don't switch on the camera, switch on the avatar and the camera to see the mimic and all of this via the avatar in the meeting. So very interesting. Also, information security. Is it an end-to-end encryption for the meetings when I go into the metaverse? Where is this hosting? Where is this hosted? Can we have a point-to-site VPN? Can we host it on our servers in our server farm? Is it ISO 27001? A certificate for this metaverse software or for this product. So information security, very, very interesting topic in metaverse. Who has access to the information we shared in metaverse, or from metaverse to your company SharePoint, for example, or into the whiteboard? We see it here in the small pictures. Who has access and who's access controlled? And you know the challenges with whiteboard and meetings and Teams meetings. So them produce these into the metaverse world. So we have information security on these topics, and we have, for example, also encryption, data classification. Can we classify our avatar? No, but hopefully in the future. And we have also very, very interesting, and this is a data privacy topic about the metaverse. And if the avatar, we see your eyes and you mimic, and a lot of this is a personal data. I said yes, because it's an individual one, and so, or it's not. So this is a very good discussion what we have, and also where's the risk management, where it will be proceed, where we have connected experience into the metaverse. We have databases connected. We how we can delete, for example, personal data in the metaverse. So all of these enterprise typical privacy data questions starting in metaverse, which is a privacy, which is personal data in the metaverse. That's very, very interesting, and we have a lot of discussions in the legal sector about these topics. And also, yeah, there's also brainstorming. We have more and more of these topics on the next slide. So go forward. Anonymization, personalization, all of these in the part of metaverse. And what we are doing and what I'm doing to start with compliance, okay, make this brainstorming. And then I have a look, okay, let's have a look at the EU Parliament, EU Commission. Hopefully there's something official in a regulation, and what is metaverse in a technical way out of the view of the European Parliament, and what is I'm using Bing, Google, and all of this, and I find these paper. There's a paper out of this year. So the most of the papers to Metaverse is from February to June this year. So very new, but we have something to Metaverse. So this is the official technical description of Metaverse in the EU Parliament. This is very interesting. So it's not the one-to-one description to outer space, but to metaverse at itself. What is metaverse in a legal and political way in the EU Parliament? And this is the description. And for me, it's that's for me. It's a technical description. It's a realism which enables people to become emotionally immense in the virtual world. Yeah, that's for me. It's interoperability, allowing distinct systems or platforms here. We will see here. So when you think a little bit about it, yeah, that's close to that. What we say and what we say. What is metaverse? So we have a legal, not a legal. We have a definition, a technical definition on the European Parliament side. And when we have a look a little bit forward, we have also We have also one of these graphics, and I have a look, okay, at the EU Commission, at Gartner. What is the element of metaverse? What is metaverse to have a legal definition and a way to define what is metaverse? And when we say here, that's very interesting. We see here, okay, metaverse, we have workplace, we have social media, we have all of these things, gaming. We see, for example, the Minecraft game is also a part of the metaverse in the 3D version. So you can go with your avatar into the Minecraft world with your Googles, mixed reality, Windows mixed reality Googles, and so on here. So gaming and all of this. We have marketplace. So you see all of these elements, and we see all of these challenges, and we see all of these legal challenges. So very, 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 very interesting for me. So, but this is new. This is new in this combination, not very new because of Second Life and the things we have used before, but in this combination, and this is, yeah, as a metaverse, this is new. And when we have a look, okay, when we have a metaverse and we have a definition of metaverse, we know, okay, this is technical definition for metaverse. What are the EU findings of issues and challenges? And when you have a look a little bit at the EU Parliament, EU Commission, you can summarize these findings when we have to talk about metaverse out of a legal view. So we have standardization and interoperability. This is a very important point. We don't have only at metaverse, but these are especially for metaverse. Then, and this was for me a little bit surprised, killer acquisition and merger control. So the EU Parliament and the experts on EU level see that we will have in the future, killer acquisition. So we will, for example, Facebook will buy all of the companies and have the right to have the only metaverse, for example. It will happen, but this is what they're talking about. Also about antitrust. Antitrust tools, regulation standards and settings, and for these. So we have these findings, and then it's very interesting what we have to do with these findings. So on a political and legal level, a little bit higher. And when we have a look also into from the EU Commission, we see here more information. So, for example, in February, we get more and more blog posts also about metaverse on this level of politic and regulation and legal. We see, for example, okay, which regulation is important for metaverse. And when we have a look here at these blog posts, we see, okay, we don't have one regulation. And the EU Commission and also the memberships, and also I see it in UK too. Yes, UK is a part of the EU anymore, but I see also the same ideas in UK, for example, that we don't have one regulation. We have different regulation, different laws to combine for a metaverse regulation. So we don't see a metaverse law or like this. So we have different ones. They working together to have a regulation set. And when we go a little bit deeper, we will find the set, or we will find these different ones, these different regulations to have an idea what we do with metaverse out of a compliance and legal view. And yes, at the end, we will talk also about what is about compliance tools and all of this in metaverse. One more, we have to find this legal view on metaverse. And I look, for example, in Germany, in France, in UK, also in Sweden, in Italy, about an official blog post about metaverse into the last 3 or 4 months. And what I find is these ones. I find these blog posts from a Spanish national authority, from the data privacy authority, and they have very interesting, and hopefully I can oh, that's fine. We see here, hopefully it's not too small. We see here these Spanish blog post, and the first white paper I found from national data privacy regulation that they said, okay, we have to define rules. We have to talk about mechanism. We have to bring the principles of data privacy into metaverse. So that's very interesting. For example, the first point, the data minimization mechanism collects by the variable devices themselves and by the metaverse. So yes, we have, when we use the metaverse, we have telemetry, diagnostic data, and we have a lot of data which will be collected. And the principles of the EU and the principles of data privacy will also have to work here. So privacy by design, security by design, and also minimization. So when you don't need the data and you don't have a reason to proceed the data, you have to delete. So they go here and said, okay, we have to classify the data, which data will be used in the metaverse, telemetry, diagnostic, personal data, data around security, connection, access level, and all of this. On the other side, and this is very interesting, we have to talk about biometric data. So when the camera is scanning your face and bringing this to the avatar, this is proceed of biometric data. And this biometric data discussion is very, very interesting because biometric data is a high sensitive data, is one of the high sensitive data we know in the data privacy regulations worldwide, also in the US, in EU, and all of this. So very interesting. We have to talk about it a little bit, but not too long. And I found also in the EU Parliament and EU Commission these papers, and also this paper I will put it into my slides so that you can see the paper also, the Metaverse Opportunities, Risk and Political Implementation. And when we said, okay, we found these blog posts, we found this information, we make a brainstorming, what are the combination of regulations? So let's have a look. And the first one, I think, and you read it in the time when I drink something, the GDPR rules. Yeah, that's correct. The GDPR rules are also used for Metaverse. So we have personal data, and we will proceed. We have data transfer to the US. We have all of these typical software as a service issues and challenges also in Metaverse. That's nothing new. That's what we know. And the most of you are small or a little data privacy officer, so you know what I'm talking about. Data transfer in the US and all of this. Then, that's very interesting, we have these 4 new acts in the EU, the Digital Service Act, Digital Market Act, Data Governance Act, and AI regulations. And yes, some of these are a little bit older, so it works also for UK. And UK have nearly the same acts, and these acts are also part of the regulation. So when you start with Metaverse, you have to know that we have these regulations, and we have to fulfill these regulations for AI, for governments, for digital market, for digital service act. And when we go a little bit deeper and we have these acts and we talked about personal data, all of this, we have to talk about a little bit more about data classification to have the best decision, how we bring it under the regulations and how we fulfill the regulations. And I talked a little bit at the beginning, we have telemetry and diagnostic. Yes, we have this. We have also voice recording and video or recording of your avatar, video recording and recording of your avatar with your information about your face, about your fingers and all of this. We have the pictures itself, the picture of you, for example, or pictures you bring into the metaverse, or when you make a selfie in outspace or make a picture out of these people in outspace and you share it. That's also personal data, and the people have the right about their faces, about their pictures and all of this. And on the other side, we have different fingerprints. For example, as MFA, we have also very interesting ideas about bringing the fingerprints, bringing your fingerprints to an avatar or like this. So we have different categories of data, from low risk and default ones, name, surname, and all of this, to biometric data. And we have the full set, what we discussed in Microsoft 365, compromised in Metaverse into one topic. And we all need it because we can't delete, for example, the telemetry, we can't delete our avatar, we can't delete our pictures. All we need this to bring our information into the Metaverse. So very, very interesting for the data classification, and then also for the, about the discussion about this data classification. One more, and this is very, very interesting, and that's why I opened Altspace in another virtual desktop. You know my identity. You know me, see my picture here, that's my identity, and here is my avatar identity. And we have to talk about the data classification, and we have to talk about identity. And identity, when we started and when you opened the Altspace app, for example, you see you can create your Altspace account, or you have to sign in with your Microsoft MSID account. So not your Microsoft 365 account or Azure account, you have to use your Microsoft personal ID, the user ID. And in the future, it's only possible with your Microsoft user ID. So when you sign in, you need your Microsoft ID, the personal one, to sign in. It's not possible to sign in with the Azure AAD account, and this is a problem, because when you give your employees an Azure ID with Microsoft 365 licensing, today it's not possible with this identity to join the Altspace VR and joining the Microsoft Metaverse. In the future, with Mesh for Teams, yes, it will be possible about the AAD account, but today it's not possible. So when we have a deeper look, you need the Microsoft account, and you need to create a Microsoft account. That's what Microsoft also wants. Please create a Microsoft. But the Microsoft account is a consumer account. It's not a company account. It's not controlled like a company account. You don't have a AD Connect or everything. So you can't control, you can't report. That's a personal one. And it's very interesting, for example, also out of arbitration law. Can you say that your employee have to make a personal account in Microsoft? 90% no. So you can't say, okay, you have to do this because we use Altspace now, and you have to do this. And that's very, very interesting. No, that's not possible. And no, you can't give the identity in Altspace today to your employee. Hopefully that will comes with Mesh for Teams. So Altspace 2.0, so that we can use identities and also use B2B, and not use B2B direct, but B2B user and all of this to switch the rooms on working with your identity. The other side is identity in Metaverse is another identity. It's not comparing with the AAD identity. So we have to look at it, and currently it's a risk to use it because it's only a personal identity. When we have a look one more, we have also interesting about, I bring through the data, we have the identity and we have the personal data. And it's very interesting who's the data controller, who's the data processor, where the data will be proceed, where the data will be stored, and where it will be collected. And currently, have a look at it where we can find information about it, where we can find information about who's responsible for the data processing. And I will switch to the Altspace app. And you see here, when we have a look at Altspace, who's proceeding and who's responsible for the data. We have the terms of use and we have the Microsoft privacy policy. So let's have a look into the terms of use and the Microsoft privacy policy. Start with terms of use. We see here terms of use, how you can use Altspace, how to be compliant in the Metaverse. And you see here, for example, it's not for people under the age of 13. So if you have people under the age of 13 in your company, it's not possible, or it's not allowed out of the terms of use. So we have terms of use which are restricted to the people who can use the Metaverse via Altspace. And then we have, for example, also translation, transcription, very interesting thing, messages, how you can use it, intellectual property, copyright law, all of these discussion, user content, who owns the user content, is it restricted? Who get when you create an avatar, who's the owner of the avatar? And yes, you are the owner of the avatar. We have personal recordings, live stream of recordings. All of these are also controlled via the terms of use. On the other side, privacy at Microsoft. And you see that's a link out of, and we can go back and see here, go here to the link, and we go here to the default side of privacy at Microsoft. That's a problem. That's not the, we have here the privacy statement, but that's the general side. So we don't have a data privacy rules or like this. So we have to look at it and we see, okay, we have the default privacy rules like for Sway or like for optional connected experience or for some features out of Azure. We have only the general data privacy rules for Microsoft. So when you have an enterprise agreement and you have the DPA and you have EU model clauses, it working for Altspace? No, currently, no. It's only the general data privacy rules. And that's very interesting. And when you accept this, you go a little bit deeper, you have to allow, and here we see the information about the diagnostic data and all of this. So you have to say yes, error reporting on this. When you know, say no, but this is possible. And for me, and what I do in this moment is to have a deeper look at the data privacy and processing and data processing. So I'm using Fiddler and Wireshark when I say no, what happened, and when I say yes and allow diagnostic data, what happened then, and what happened before the login, what happened when I log in. And that's very, very interesting that, yeah, when you say yes or no and deny, it's differences in proceeding of data. But all of this we can say Altspace today is proceed in US. It's data transfer in the US. In the US, the personal accounts, a part of it is in Europe, but it's also server and server connection to US. So we have to say it, we have the general terms, it's US, it's not a part of your enterprise agreement or CSP on all of this. So you have separate data privacy, separate licensing and all of this. And this, for me, you can use it, but it's not like Microsoft Teams today. Hopefully in the future, when we have Microsoft Teams Mesh, it will be a part of the enterprise agreement, will be part of the data protection agreement and all of this. But currently, no, it's only the general one. And when we have to look at it, okay, who's responsible, who's the data control and data processor, when you have a look in the contracts, it's like you are the data controller, that's the role in the contract, and Altspace and back Microsoft as a subcontractor also with some other companies are the data processor in your wish and what you say, they proceed the data for you. That's a typical data privacy principle that the processor and the responsible are you for your data. But it's very interesting when you have a look a little bit deeper. No, I want to go to the other side. When you have a look a little bit deeper when you sign in, yes, you have a small control via your Microsoft ID. So where's your login? You can control your personal data via your Microsoft login with a consumer account. But it's very interesting when you use it in a company. And I'm also a data privacy officer in some companies. And we talked about, okay, your employees have rights, for example, to delete information, have rights to minimize the data collection, have rights to give information about the data transfer to US. And then often I said, okay, we need more information. So that's why I'm sniffing Altspace and the other tools. And when we have a look also into the documentation of Altspace, and I said, okay, we need some information. Let's have a look. Creating install beginner guides. Yeah, that's interesting. Creating an event. Yeah, okay. But I need more information. I go to terms and standards. We see a software licensing. You see the terms of use. You see a little bit of troubleshooting, audio, safety control, account and avatars, who's renaming all of this, and contact us, get help. For Microsoft is get help about it. So you have to open a typical Microsoft ticket, but this is also a part of the data privacy discussion, Article 32, about the proceeding and using of Metaverse or its use of Altspace. So you have to go to Microsoft. But it's very interesting. Do you get a sheet about how the data will flows and the data will proceed and where we will store? No. Is it a part of Azure or of Microsoft 365 websites? Where's your data? No, Altspace is not a part of it. So when you're sniffing, have a look at it, we will see it's US controlled, it's US hosted, it's US proceeded, it's Altspace, and in the background it's Microsoft. And we have some subcontroller, and that's also interesting. Do we have a list of subcontroller? Currently, no. So all of these typical data, these typical and easy data privacy questions you don't have an answer when you have to look into the documentation. But in the future, and I'm working also and giving feedback, that we get all of this information so that you can get this information and can use all of the Metaverse information and can have these on the official website. So we talked about it, have looked at it, and that's at the end, it's not 100% clear where's proceeded and all of this, and we hopefully we want that it will proceed in Europe for us, and I have the question if it's a part of EU boundary program. Today I don't get responsible from Microsoft. Hopefully in the next days, when you want, I will give you the information if it's a part of EU boundary, so it will be proceed only in Europe, but currently no. When we have more ones, and this is a data privacy and cybersecurity challenge, is it a real person behind the avatar? Is it only a bot? Is it a deep fake behind the avatar? So we have interesting new questions. We have to talk about it, and we have to find solutions. And for me, for example, I talked with Microsoft and said, okay, let's start with a certificate for avatars. So MFA for avatars with a certificate, so that you know this avatar you are seeing is Raphael Koellner. So now you see me here, that's my face, and all this, that's me. Okay, it can be a deep fake, no, but that's really me. But this is more and more interesting in the metaverse. Is it a real person? It's only a bot, or and bots are so good today with the bot frame, all of this, that sometimes you can decide is it a real person or a bot. But for data privacy and for what you do and all of this, that's very important. So hopefully in the future we will get a certificate that the real person certificate with MFA, multi-factor authentication, that this is a real person. It's not a deep fake or every other. We will see in the future what is behind an avatar. And we have all of these interesting challenges, and the EU Commission and the EU Parliament giving a little more answers, but it's not close to discussion. The discussion is not close. For example, created content in the metaverse. Who owns the created content? When you go to a company, say we created content in the metaverse. Who owns it? In Altspace, for example, when you upload it into Altspace, currently it's your content, and Altspace only hosted your environment into Metaverse. But in Facebook, it's a little bit different, and that's very, very interesting. You have to look into the contracts to answer these questions. And do we have a regulation that every time what you created is you and is your rights? No, that's not really. So we have to look differently in the different software, in the regulations, in the contracts, who is the right of created, who has the rights of created content. The same for brands, identities in Metaverse. That's what I said. We need a certification program and all of this to protect our Metaverse avatar. And when we collect all of these data privacy challenges, we can collect it to these points: blurred rows, data sharing and portability, the issues of direct marketing. So marketing is also a very interesting topic into Metaverse. We know it from Second Life 2.0, intrusive profiling, profiling of the avatar and the person behind the avatar, and we have the Metaverse workplace. And this is what we have to talk with the data privacy officer. We have to create a new data privacy rules and information, Article 13 GDPR to our employees, and we have these issues with the identity that currently is a Microsoft ID, it's not a AID. Hopefully in the future we will see. When we go to the next one, liabilities, and when we have a look, what are the three core challenges in liabilities? It's illegal and harmful content that we see online in the metaverse, advertising practices, intellectual property rights protection in the metaverse. This is very, very interesting. So when you go to Microsoft and say, okay, create me a metaverse, create me an environment, help me with your company, you have to talk about these topics, and you have to need a contract, and you need a lawyer that helps you what is in outer space, what is in Meta from Facebook, how you can control it, and is it possible to make a contract about it. So that's very, very interesting. That's differences in the different technologies and different programs. Next one. Also, we are talking today about cybersecurity. Very often we talk about cybersecurity. So hopefully we will see a cybersecurity session besides a compliance session of Metaverse. So security of your identity, security of the Metaverse enabling devices. So security of a mixed reality headset, of the HoloLens. Yes, it's possible today with MFA, Intune, and all of this in the beginning. No, it's not possible. But MFA with your Windows mixed reality, no, that's not possible. But we will see more and more, and Microsoft is investing here. Security of protocols. So security of the stream you will see here. And this is very important, the avatar integrity. Yes, when you have a look at Reddit and at some hacker blogs and a little bit in the darknet, you will see that it's possible today to change the person behind the avatar into a feed or into one session that you don't know who's behind. Is it the police? Is it NSA? Or is it Raphael behind the avatar? So very, very interesting, and this is for a company also a risk. So what I see here are the data privacy risk, the liability risk, cybersecurity risk. And when we have a look, for example, at Altspace, yes, we have these challenges, but we have to accept the risk, and we can use it. But is it enterprise ready? Hopefully in the future with Mesh for Teams and all of this, we will see that's more and more enterprise ready. Compliance tools will work. Currently, no. Currently, we don't have e-discovery. Communication compliance will not work. For example, Microsoft Information Protection don't work. So the PureView tools don't work. Defender tools. In outer space, you don't have hopefully we will see in the future the Defender for Altspace or the Defender for Metaverse. So next name, it's my copyright. Defender for Metaverse will be, hopefully we'll see it, or PureView for Metaverse. That's something, and certificates for avatars. That's my ideas for solution, how you can work and how you can work in a compliant way with Metaverse, but we have a lot of homework. When we go in these ideas and have a projects, and I have projects with companies, with enterprise companies, I don't create the environment, but I talk about these compliance rules and regulations and creating contracts, creating information for employees and all of this. So today it's a high risk. It's a high risk. We have data privacy, cybersecurity, liability, and we have a long list. I have 50 slides about it. What we have to think about it, labor law, working councils, and all of this we have to talk. But it's possible to use, yes, for a free use for your employees. Yes, it's possible. Yes, it's possible, and that's what we test and what I'm testing too. That's because my company said, okay, we can make consulting in Altspace, but we don't talk about sensitive information. We talk about how we can switch Exchange on-premise to Exchange online, how we can make a migration process with SharePoint migration tool or with ShareGate, Quest, AvePoint, all of this. That's what we're talking in our Altspace company environment, but we don't talk about sensitive data. That's very, very important. No sensitive data, no insurance data, finance data, nothing in Mesh today. So that's today. Tomorrow, we will see Teams Mesh, AAD account, the European data center encryption, customer key for Altspace, or using the customer key in Teams also for the Mesh part of it. That would be cool. New method like the avatar certification, and special contracts between employee and working council as a part of the working council agreement. So we bring the high risk to low risk in the future, and that's very, very interesting. So we are in the beginning in the compliance and legal topics about Metaverse, and so I will switch back. Switch back to the session, and 2 minutes before, but yeah, we can think about it. And I see we have a lot of questions. That's good. So I scroll to the question. Robert, wow, when the person get involved, then innovation is slow. Yes, correct. But for Metaverse, I'm very happy that the EU Commission and EU Parliament have a website and have a paper. That's a long story, but we have it, and we know which regulations we have to fulfill for Metaverse. Often that's totally catastrophe. You don't know what you have to fulfill. Now, Metaverse, yeah, you know what you have to fulfill, but we have homework. What is also, we can provide an MSA account to employee who's using their personal info. Yeah, that's the main question today. I get a company, they ask me, you want to use Altspace, for example. Also, we don't want to wait for Microsoft Mesh, and we want Altspace as a virtual office, a hybrid office that they can work together, and that's possible. And I said, okay, it's better to use the MSA account than an Altspace account. So, because MSA account, it's a personal one, and with this MSA account, personal one, it's connected with your avatar. So interesting question also, when your employee make an MSA account and they said, okay, this is a personal account, but for the company, what happens with the avatar when the employee left the company? Is the avatar part of the company assets or not? So interesting question. No one asked this question before. What happened with this? Currently, it's a little bit like a LinkedIn account. The certificates you can take with you, for example, MCT and all of this. And for me, it's very interesting. Yeah, you have to make a contract with your working council or with your employee. What happened with the account? What happened with the avatar? Because the avatar, often you create your avatar, you create your environment, and your company pays for this. So pays for your money every month and all of this, and you create this. And this is one of the questions. What happened with this? Currently, we are in Germany, and for Germany, like I said, when you create something in a part of your contract or in a work for your company, all of this is a part of your company. So the company said, give me your avatar. And I have one of these legal discussions that the company said, I want your avatar. And the employee said, no, it's my avatar. I want to go to the next company because with my avatar, I have a lot of followers and I have rooms and I build everything. When I want to start to building all of this, I need 6 months ago. So yes, you have to make a rule and you have to make a contract. So we have not so much time. And what else? No one at Microsoft has claims that is an enterprise agreement. Correct. That's correct. No one said that Altspace is an enterprise-ready collection of this. No one claimed it. But companies, when they are in a Microsoft environment, want to use Altspace because Altspace is the only 3D metaverse nearly application they have. So that's what I said. In the future, we will have Mesh with Teams, and this will be your enterprise application. Question is, instead of talking about all of these negatives, how can we move innovations into Metaverse? Wait for Teams for Mesh. Wait for the compliance tools and rules, making contracts, and accept the risk. That's the short answer. Okay, 2 more questions. Do you think at some point Microsoft will integrate decentralized wallets? Yeah, that's a very, very interesting question. Is there already a regulation for decentralized wallets? If not, how do you think the virtual identity sitting behind this will be regulated? Yes, we have in the EU Commission, EU Parliament, a paper about decentralized wallets. And yes, Microsoft is working also on it. But currently, I have no idea if it will be used and connected for Metaverse. For me, it can be a very good solution, a very good idea, Luca, a very, very good idea. But if it will happen, I don't know. Is there a regulation or is it a white paper and an idea in the EU Commission? Yes. Do we have EU regulated one? There's no, in the Digital Act or the Governments Act, the Digital Market Act, we don't have the name decentralized wallets in it, but we can bring these idea together with the regulations. Yes, that's possible. So good idea. If it happens, I don't know. We will see hopefully next year at Metaverse 2 or Metaverse 1, the second part. Last question. Hopefully Matty will stop it. if someone is interested in being a part of a data privacy project, how can they get involved? That's a very good idea. Before this white paper, which published in February, there was a public consultation from the EU Commission, so you can give your opinion to the EU Commission and give your opinion, give your knowledge, give your ideas to the EU Commission. That's what I do also. I communicate with Microsoft, with the Teams team, and give them my ideas, like the certification, all of this, the usage of the tools. But is there, and this is a good question, is there a European or worldwide project about privacy metaverse? No. There are some worldwide legal companies, they have projects, legal tech projects with metaverse. In my company, we do it since 1 year. And have a data privacy project, but we don't have a community project. But it's a good idea. We can start it now. I can open a space. We can use Metaverse. We can open GitHub, and let's start. I think here we are in a very, very early step. We can start. I have all the papers from regulation, all of this. We have to start. We have to define, and we have the GDPR, and we have to bring the Metaverse to GDPR. And that's the challenge. Okay, we have times no worry. We have only 10 minutes. You had all the fine. Yeah, if you want, Matty and Uesco, we can start it, and I can lead it. We can start a data privacy metaverse project, a community one. I think it's a good idea. So, yes, why not? It's a very good idea. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, since 1 year, and when we get more and more people together. Hopefully it will be more a business case for all of the companies outside and bringing data privacy and regulations to Metaverse. And writing papers will help. For example, I'm writing papers for it's not newspapers, it's a legal paper or legal newspapers. Where I write, and also I write blog posts for this to bring my opinion into the discussions to find a solution. And we need to find a solution for data privacy, liability, and also we need to find solution. And this is for the most companies currently a very interesting topic: who owns what we create for Altspace or what we create for Metaverse? When I sell 60K for creating a Metaverse environment for my Christmas party, who owns it? Yes, make a contract, make it like every digital goods, the company owns it. But is it? Do we have judgment at the end? No. So very funny. No, it's not funny for the companies, but for us, it's very interesting. And what I want to show you, all of these are challenges we can solve. That's a part. We are here. We are talking together, and this conference is a very big step into the right corner. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about how to use. We have to talk about how to make a contract. Which challenges we have, and this is what I want to make with this session. I want to bring you nearer to think about what are the challenges to use Metaverse in a company, and we have challenges, and we can solve it. Make contracts. Show your employees what happened at the end. Make the same like me. Sniffing. That's something, Matty. That's something for a next session, for a community session. We make Fiddler, Wireshark, and I show you my results.
Yeah, exactly. I think we need another session as well for this.
Yeah. But at the end, when you make a Metaverse project, choose your tool. So, for example, Altspace to bring it through Microsoft Teams Mesh. Have a look at the contracts. At the end, accept the risk in the moment, and in the future with Microsoft Teams Mesh and the AAD account and all of this, and hopefully using all of the compliance tools, we will be ready. That's a typical process at Microsoft. Or Matty, the same with Microsoft Teams at the beginning. The same with, for example, shared channels. We start with private channels in Teams. At first, e-discovery don't work, communication compliance don't work, you don't have a container label on your channel. But today, e-discovery works, communication compliance works. So we need to wait a little bit, and then it will work. And in the between, accept the risk. Don't use high sensitive data in Metaverse. Create your avatar, have fun, and hopefully, and Matty, we bring it to Microsoft. Hopefully, we have a migration tool from Altspace avatar to Team Smash avatar. But yeah,
Well, let's see.
Let's see.
Yeah. Good discussion. I probably
Yeah.
need to cut it off, but you can of course continue
Okay.
in the chat as well. And we have the alt space. We are space we can gather around and have a discussion. But I think this needs kind of more sessions and more discussions as well. Good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you very much.